What is the creepiest unexplained thing you have ever come across on the internet? I'm not sure if this has been explained, but I remember discovering a YouTube channel which went by the name of Robert Helpman. The channel has various videos of a body bag, seemingly with something inside of it, which is referred to as Daisy. I came across this when I was young, and it terrified me. Someone somehow guessed my name correctly in a 4chan thread. I didn't even give any clue to who I was. Still don't know who or how they did it. So I decided to just type in something like mmmmmmmmmmmmm.com or something like it. Coca-Cola used to, or still does, own a URL like that, but just the same letter maybe 13 to 15 times. It came to a choppy video of a movie called South 32. It was cryptic and edited to just say, South 32, over and over again, for 4 hours. So I tried a different letter. Same thing. And another letter. Same thing. The same website popped up for maybe 20 different URLs in that type of sequence. I tried submitting it to the Internet Mysteries subreddit, but it didn't gain any traction and I don't believe it works anymore. This must have been 4 years ago now.
Was casually surfing when I stumbled upon a video of a guy doing shotgun loading tutorials or
something. The video was cut half and he was speaking another language and the gun accidentally went off and he blew his head clean off. I don't remember the website name or anything. I was just surfing funny videos to pass the time when I saw this. The amount of blood it went flying everywhere was horrible. I was just 11 when I saw this, so it practically scarred me bad. It still chills me when I think about it. I rang my mum on WhatsApp to do a video call. When she answered, it was a man with his shirt off, middle-aged, 50s, with glasses on, sitting on a couch. It sort of looked like a hotel room. He had a foreign accent and said, "Yes. Hello? Who is this?" Quote. I hung up immediately and rang my mum again, and she picked up and she was on camera walking around near a pond. It was absolutely bizarre and has never happened again. In the post above this one, I just read a 2-paragraph comment about how to properly seduce a female dolphin. I read Kyle Odum's manifesto on here. Basically, he was this mentally ill ex-Marine who was convinced he was being telepathically manipulated by aliens. He believed their main hideout was in this church and he had to kill the leader to make it stop. He ended up firing an entire clip of hollow point bullets into the back of the preacher of that church. The preacher made a full recovery, which was deemed a miracle, and Kyle Odum was arrested throwing his manifesto across the White House fence. This is all a true story if you look him up. A lady on Gaia Online got mad at me in Chatterbox. So she went on my profile and spammed it with gifs of someone beating a dog to death with a shovel. I remember seeing the first one and crying a lot because at the time I was like 11 or 12. She sent like 10 before I got her blocked and later banned. I had to manually delete each comment from my public profile. Each GIF was from a different point in the same video. It was really sad and I didn't go back onto my PC for a long time. I didn't come across it. But once when I was around 15, someone hacked into my computer. This is 100% true and I tell it as a cautionary tale often. I had a FTP file server at the time because I was in a long-distance relationship and we would send
stuff to each other via the file server.
One day I noticed someone had downloaded all of my photos from the server. I called my boyfriend and asked him why he was downloading stuff he already had. He swore it wasn't him. I ignored it until several days later a screen opened on my desktop that was a window for my webcam and was on with me on the screen, and the chat window opened. The person told me that if I didn't take all my clothes off, they would use my mom and dad's credit cards to buy all sorts of things. Luckily, my parents were super cautious of using their credit cards on the internet. This was like 2002. So I knew he didn't have their card #s. He had used the FTP server to upload this chat video program. And who knows how long they had been watching me. I freaked out. I unplugged my computer and unplugged it from the internet and didn't turn it back on until I was prepared with fancy firewalls and security for the FTP server. I tried calling to police and my internet provider, but no one could help me. And that's how I learned hundreds of IP addresses and what they were. I watched my firewall like a hawk. I never heard from the hacker again. But it sure scared the shit out of me. Now I cover my webcams. Naive me got into kids chat. Randomly got messaged by a guy asking if I want free toys. Childish me accepted. Then guy led me to a 4 GB folder full of random dog photos. Scrolling down a bit further, there's a few zip files. Some photos were oversaturated than the rest. Others I can't even make out. Shit reminds me of some old creepypasta and knocked out. I changed the email address attached to my Amazon account. A year later I forgot and tried to sign into my account with old email address. The same password worked, but it was someone else's account. Name and address was different. And the guy hadn't bought anything. Why did he use my old email? It was unique to me and didn't match his name. And how did the password end up the same as mine? I modded Discord servers for a while. Users send you all sorts of shock stuff when you ban them. Typically just stuff like gay porn that doesn't make me blink twice. One guy sent me a home video of someone being beheaded. Wasn't ready for that. I was 12, alone in my room, casually browsing YouTube on my old laptop when suddenly a jump scare opens on a completely different tab on Chrome. I still remember my webcam's light blinking. I was so terrified that I wasn't able to use my laptop alone for a good 6 to 7 months lol. This isn't the internet but more on a call. I was on a call with my girlfriend who was in Germany at that time. Early 2019. When suddenly she seemed to be repeating what she was saying from a while back. I got confused and was trying to ask her why she was repeating herself before I realized that her voice was being looped back. I didn't realize the loop point or how far back it was, but she was clearly saying the same lines as she did before. When I hung up and called her back, she asked me why I hung up on her and didn't call me back. Then during the second call, it happened again after 3 minutes. I've never been able to explain why this happened and has never occurred again before or since. Definitely gave me the creeps and more than a few thoughts that I was living in a simulation. Back around 2005, I had no clue how to use tampons. I was too embarrassed to ask anyone. So I decided to try searching the internet for help. I came across some forum where people were talking about sticking tampons up their butt. I was confused because I was sure tampons didn't go there. So I kept reading to find out more. Turns out it was a bunch of men sticking tampons up their butt because they liked the feeling of the tampons swimming around in there. Not really unexplained, but some creepy language was used in that forum. This happened last month. I was watching random stuff on YouTube when suddenly I started listening to guys talking with a calm music in the background. One of the guys had a strong Russian accent. They seemed to be playing something. Either it was some YT video I opened, but it wasn't. I started to close everything until everything was closed. There was only Steam opened but IWASNT in any voice chat or anything, and no media was playing, like stream or anything like that. It seemed to be some private call I got in. So I closed Steam and the two guys talking stopped. So I guess somehow I got into a random Steam private voice call. A guy fucking a sea bass. No joke. I was in a private call with a friend on Discord, and then suddenly we heard someone saying like, "Hello? Anyone can hear me?" We both surprised, and I'm 1000% sure there was only the two of us. Humanbeef.com. I tried to find it on the Wayback Machine, to no avail. It was super creepy though. Edit. Ostensibly a place to purchase meat, human meat. They had testimonials and photos, artistic renderings of processing employees wearing masks, and of the final product. It's been over 20 years, 1998-ish, since I saw it, so my memory is a little faded. But I'm pretty sure the URL was humanbeef.com. I remember the color scheme being white and turquoise. Anybody else remember it? Edit 2. I guess it was manbeef.com, not humanbeef.com. That said, according to a hoax expose website, it's now, quite unsurprisingly, porn. I didn't verify, but you've been warned. That time I fell on a file hosting website with different videos clamoring to be hidden cameras in various spots. IRC. It included stuff like Disneyland bathrooms and other stuff like this. I never downloaded a file to check if it was true voyeurism, but I directly reported it to the authorities because if it's true stuff then it's really fucked. Damn it, when will I learn my damn lesson and stop browsing these fucking threads? There was a sub about methods of switching universes in the multiverse. The sub had a number in the sidebar and people would swear that they successfully switched universes because the number was different or a partner has a scar they didn't before.
Stuff like that.
Anyway, it just stopped. No word as to why. No nothing. Everyone just stopped posting and commenting all of a sudden.
Sadly, I cannot for the life of me remember the name of the sub.
As a teenager looking for porn, I stumbled across a website which looked like one of those live cam sites. But then I noticed most of the people weren't engaging with the audience. And they were all kinds of people. Old people, kids, people of all different ages, ethnicities and whatnot. I clicked on a random live stream of some oblivious teenager doing her homework, and the people in the comments were saying stuff that made me realize she didn't know she was being live streamed. Nor did anyone else on the site. It seemed to be some weird website of hacked webcams or security cameras where the people had no idea about it. It was creepy as fuck, and I've never kept my webcam pointed at me when not in use since. This will probably get buried, but it goes back a ways in the days of the internet. Back in late 90s I was young and was cruising around the net looking for spank material. As a kid you would always hear ads about live sex over the phone. You would call a number and then talk to a girl for money. The ads were on late night TV and such. I was on some old porn link sites that would not have images but loads of links. 28K, 56K. Connection days. Images took a bit to download, so porn links just had words and links, etc. I remember seeing links for phone sex calls. My brain said, "Oh shit, I can listen and finally figure out what that was like. Probably pretty good spank material, right?" Well, I clicked a link or two and after a few minutes the audio file was downloaded. On the recording was a girl with a sultry voice and some guy. I was thinking, oh man, this is gonna be good. She was all slutty sounding and moaning. Except after a minute or so the conversation turned towards poop. literal poop. They were talking about taking big shits, and how could so much poop fit through you butthole, etc. There I was, like 13 with my duck in my hand thinking, what the fuck am I listening to? Instant boner killer. They went on and on talking about touching poop, molding it, touching it, plopping sounds when it's splashed in a toilet, what it would taste like. It's one of those things that I will never understand, and it left me so confused about life for a bit. Paying money to call a sex line to visit your scap fetish. Big yikes. Edit. Yeah, I've never owned a duck. A few days after we got an Alexa, my wife and I were playing around by asking it random questions to see what she'd say. We asked her to tell us a story.
Without missing a beat, she said, "There is a disfigured child in the basement calling for help."
When I was a kid, I had some cereal that had website to visit to enter to win some prize or something. I don't remember the specifics. Anyway, when I entered that site into my computer, it didn't take me to some kid-friendly site or anything. It took me to a blank white page with just the text, "We have been watching you." The time 4chan figured out how to get into the White House's networked warning system. When I was around 13, I randomly came across a video on Facebook, shared by a FB friend, of a woman being decapitated. It was two men and the woman plus someone holding a camera. They explained that she wronged their gang in some way. I don't remember those details. And one man proceeded. I couldn't click away, I was so frozen in shock. I saw the whole thing. Her image is burned into my brain for life. When I see similar graphic scenes in movies or shows like GOT, I always picture her. May she RIP. This happened when I used to play Minecraft a lot back in like 2013-2014. I was with a friend on Skype and was trying to find other people to join to play a game in their lobby, and I asked this one guy if he wanted to join. He gives me his Skype and my friend and I add him. Then he starts inviting us to a video call and only one of us could join. My friend joined and started screen sharing, and this guy, who was probably like 12 or 13, was laying on his bed naked and had tied his legs and an arm to the bedpost and started jacking off. After that, I stopped inviting random people to Skype. When I was a kid, 10 to 11 and I was taking my first baby steps looking for porn, I found a porn website with a bunch of women who were all missing their arms and legs. It was somewhat jarring that there were so many, and I started wondering what had happened to them, and if whoever was filming the stuff had taken their limbs. Haha, kids be kids. Unless it was probably an amputation fetish website or something. I think. Maybe. One night I was listening to music on my Alexa and playing Minecraft, and I turned off Minecraft. And then my Alexa and set off to sleep. Then a few minutes later my Alexa glows a red light and plays a very loud static noise. It scared the shit out of me. This is a cool thread I'll add at before Tumblr banned NSFW content. I used to see anorexia encouragement that consisted of ideal bodies and just horrible body dysmorphia. I followed a guy that did crack and saw jarring videos of someone smoking meth and doing cocaine. Immediately after, I saw one post of someone on heroin then doing Xanax. Absolutely terrible synergy, by the way. They were being recorded and I just remember the eyes rolling back and flopping over. Tumblr was a strange place. I want to know if someone else ventured down there. I remember back in the day you could type "ink meet Chad" or something like that in the Google search bar and then hit the "I'm feeling lucky" button. It would immediately bring up a page with a dude covered in poop. Years ago, in a similar post on Reddit, someone shared a website of this mentally ill, homeless woman, formerly an engineer or dev, who lived in a tent in the woods that she had hidden. She had access to electricity and the internet. She had her own website and I believe even posted on Reddit. On her website she'd write about her sex life and all the crazy shit she'd done. I think the worst was when she willingly became the sex slave of some man. At some point he tied her up in his basement, and that man would invite his friends to come over to rape her. Eventually word gets around town and all sorts of men show up. Even some teenage boys. One thing I distinctly remember is she hated having her partners speak during sex. She posted a satellite photo of where her tent was and said if anyone could find her tent, they were welcome to come inside and fuck her, but they couldn't say anything to her while they did it. Crazy stuff. Anyone remember this? Up late one night scrolling through Reddit, came across a post where someone confessed to killing a classmate of theirs. Totally casually. Actually ended having a conversation with this person. They were 100% dead serious about the situation but feel they weren't at fault for the death of the person. Pretty creepy. Not sure if it was actually true, but if not, they did a pretty good job at making it seem legit. I found the link to the post if anyone is interested. https://comments/fo/pg97/she_will_never_no/UTM_source equals share and UTM_medium equals iOS_app and UTM_name equals iOS SMF. Edit. Included link. I was surfing Imager Newest about 4 years ago and came across a post that was a male body laying in a wooden area. The other people commenting on the post were also reporting it. The user had never posted anything else. So, I reported the user and the post. The post was gone the next day and I made comments about it on Imager every once in a while and my comments would always magically be deleted. So, I guess I saw a real dead body and am not allowed to talk about it on Imager. Saw this really fucked up video on bestgore.com sometime back. There was a policeman and his son in the video, and they were both being beaten up brutally by members of some Mexican cartel. Then one of the guys brought a knife and started skinning the father alive in front of the son, while the son was forced to watch. I closed the video after that, but a friend of mine told me that later in the video the father's ribcage is smashed and the heart is taken out. The heart was still beating. My girlfriend at the time texted me a link to a local news article involving a trial taking place that day. At the top of the article was a picture of my girlfriend sitting in the courtroom. I expressed surprise since she hadn't mentioned going to court. She definitely would have told me. And then in anticipation of it, asked me a bunch of questions. As I am in the legal field, she responded, "That's not me. We never did find out who it was." Edit. The woman who looked like my girlfriend was not the only person in the photo. She was not even the primary subject of the photo. She was sitting in the gallery with a number of other people. Stumbled across a video of a young kid, probably like 10, overdosing on heroin. Someone recorded a child banging needles into their arm and subsequently overdosing. I think it was Russian and the video was in black and white, I believe. I watched a lot of death videos. Used to be a regular on our Watch People Die. But that video really traumatized me. I was masturbating casually on Pornhub. My search was stripping girls. I was recommended a playlist and was just watching videos. Skip a couple of minutes then skip to the next video. A couple of videos into it I found what looks like a miner. The girl was very small and her skin looked so childish. I don't know if it's creepy, but I found it very uncomfortable. The only video I ever report on Pornhub. Edit. A typo. My GF and I have a private Minecraft world that we played by opening a LAN party using her Marchi when we lived away from each other. This requires the other player to enter the designated IP address and LAN code. Keep in mind the LAN code changed every time you play Minecraft to enter the multiplayer game. One day, we were on a call playing when we saw an unrecognized gamer tag join the game. We went dead silent out of shock, I think. We then saw him run across the grass toward us, so we both quit out immediately before he could chase us. It was pretty creepy even if it's just a video game. Something about the invasion was just off-putting. I used to download movies using one of those illegal apps. I was a teenager, about 16. Perverts love to title hardcore, illegal porn Disney titles. You never knew what you were going to get. Sometimes you'd get Disney movies. Sometimes you'd get edits with Disney intros and title cards. Then it would cut into porn. I'll never forget the time I downloaded Goofy Movie and it was a horse and a woman. It was awful. I remember I cried and deleted it immediately. I didn't tell anyone, and for months I expected the FBI to show up and arrest me. Reddit user Fat and Depressed had an app that took photos of everyone that came to his house. He got loads in a row, often way after midnight, but no one in the photos. Then suddenly in one of the photos, he saw this fucking thing. https external-preview.red.it/u of 8wtq7q2q56 mcday 59 sbd1 dvcb8 jtl4awhxc.jpg auto equals WEBP and S equals B40B814995721777 C50C1A07AF32 DAD F2D62B653C. I was browsing NSFW at work on 4chan and found a pic of what looked like a woman vacuum sealed in plastic. Image stays with me to this day. Fucked up, man. Apparently it's a fetish. I worked with this dude named Jerry. He was a Mexican from Tijuana. He had a bunch of tattoos that looked like they were not done at a tattoo parlor, if you know what I mean. He was standing on the line one day. We worked in a kitchen, watching something on his phone. I went over and asked him what he was watching. He said it was a blog for ex-cartel members or gang members or something. He was watching a live stream of bunch of guys getting their heads chopped off with machetes out in the desert somewhere. Yeah, I kinda stayed away from Jerry after that.